everyone tells you laziness is a character flaw, that you're just not trying hard enough. But what if laziness isn't your fault? What if what we call laziness is actually a warning sign from your brain? Laziness isn't about doing nothing. It's about resistance. It's your mind saying, I don't want to do this. But not because you're weak, because something deeper is going on. Your body knows when something feels wrong even before you do. And the shocking part? It's often your brain trying to protect you. Researchers have found that what looks like laziness is often mental fatigue, decision overload, fear of failure, or perfectionism disguised as procrastination. You're not being lazy. You're overwhelmed, or disconnected, or drained by something you haven't even noticed. Think about it. You've had moments where you were energetic, focused, unstoppable. What changed? The task, the pressure, your emotional state, not your ability. So what if the label lazy is just a misdiagnosis? Most people don't realize how effort-intensive it is to constantly push through a life that feels misaligned. When you're chasing goals that aren't yours, your brain resists. That's not failure. That's your subconscious protesting. There's a part of your brain called the anterior cingulate cortex. It processes decision-making and effort. When you assign value to a task, it calculates if it's worth the energy. If it senses danger, disinterest, or futility, it slams the brakes. That's what we call laziness. But really, it's a complex neurological defense system. Here's the real shocker. Laziness isn't caused by a lack of ambition. It's caused by a lack of clarity. People who know exactly why they're doing something don't need motivation. They don't wait for inspiration. Their brain says yes before their body even moves. That's why athletes train every day, even when it hurts. Why creators stay up all night editing videos or writing scripts. Why entrepreneurs spend hours solving tiny problems no one sees. They're not superhuman. They're just emotionally aligned with the outcome. Laziness shows up most when the outcome feels meaningless, when the reward doesn't excite you, or when the task seems too far from any real payoff. But there's more. Trauma can mimic laziness. If you've been punished for effort in the past, your brain learns to associate action with danger. It hesitates, it freezes. You don't move, not because you don't care, but because deep down, you're scared of what happens if you fail again. Perfectionists often look lazy. They delay, they stall. But really, they're terrified of doing something imperfect. And when perfection is the standard, doing nothing feels safer than doing it wrong. Social media doesn't help. You scroll, compare, and convince yourself that everyone else has more drive than you. But you're only seeing the highlight reel, not the hours they spend procrastinating too. The truth, every single person you admire has struggled with laziness. The difference is, some of them learned how to decode it. Instead of asking, why am I so lazy? Start asking, what am I avoiding? What feels heavy right now? What would make this easier or even fun? Sometimes laziness is a sign that you need rest. Your brain isn't a machine. It gets depleted. And forcing it to go non-stop only leads to burnout. What looks like laziness is sometimes the body's cry for recovery. Other times, it's a sign to change direction. If you're constantly avoiding something, maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you're out of alignment. Maybe your goals are based on what others want for you, not what you truly want. And here's where it gets interesting. You can trick your brain into action using something called behavioral momentum. Just start. Do anything. Clean your desk. Open the book. Type one sentence. Once motion begins, your brain releases dopamine. That dopamine fuels more motion. One small action builds the bridge to bigger ones. The mistake most people make is waiting for motivation. Motivation is the result of action, not the cause. If you move, you'll feel like moving more. But if you wait until you feel ready, you might wait forever. Let's talk about your environment. Your brain is constantly scanning your surroundings for cues. If your space is chaotic, distracting, or full of things that drain your energy, your brain will resist action. This isn't about minimalism, it's about clarity. Clean space, clear mind. Your social circle matters too. Hang around driven, focused people, and laziness becomes uncomfortable. Hang around people who complain and make excuses, and your brain will normalize inaction. And don't forget about your inputs. What you consume shapes your mental state. Music, podcasts, videos, they all condition your subconscious. If you constantly watch people doing incredible things, you'll either feel inspired or defeated. So be intentional. Reframe the way you talk to yourself. Replace "I'm so lazy" with "I'm tired," or "I'm confused," or "I'm overwhelmed." Because naming the real issue gives you the power to solve it. And here's the final truth: you are not lazy. You are capable. You are wired for greatness. You just need to remove the friction, align with your purpose, and take the first step. Stop punishing yourself for resting. Start praising yourself for noticing. Awareness is the first victory. And once you have that, momentum is just around the corner. Don't let the label of laziness steal your potential, because beneath it is a mind that's simply misunderstood and a life that's waiting to be unlocked.